Thank you, Sister Diane, and welcome, brethren, to our Friday evening study. Very happy to see you, brethren, on the Zoom screen in the back, and I consider you, and I know the Lord considers you part of this congregation just as much as the ones who are sitting here. And we appreciate you very much. And welcome to you, brethren, also who are here in person. Okay, so our subject this evening is new methods to finish our work. I'll open with this thought from evangelism. New methods must be introduced. God's people must awake to the necessities of the time in which they are living. God has men whom he will call into his service, men who will not carry forward work in the lifeless way it has been carried forward in the past. Now, lifeless can mean many things, but in this case it can also mean people who are just on automatic. They're doing what they have done all their spiritual life, and they are just going about doing the same thing. Men who will not carry forward the work in the lifeless way it has been carried forward in the past. In our large cities, the message is to go forth as a lamp that burneth. God will raise up laborers for this work, and his angels will go before them. And that is our work today, brethren. God's people are those who are walking in present truth today, not those who are opposing the present truth. And we must awake to the necessities of the time that we are living in. We must awake to the possibilities and the requirements of today, and not yesterday, and not repeat our efforts in a lifeless, automatic way. And this is what has happened to us. And we need new methods to be introduced. And the new methods are, there's a number of different things, but the new method that we are going to speak about tonight, again, and emphasize, is the mission house and the mission home work. One person can accomplish a certain amount of work. Two people can do more. 3, 4, and 5 can do even more. We are called at this time to multiply ourselves to accomplish more. And that is a new method. It's a new thought, and it's a new method. And one moment, excuse me. We are called upon to do a great work in the cities, primarily for the church, but the new method that we have introduced is to work with Syrophoenicians to accomplish the work in the church. We can't do our work in a lifeless way. Lifeless work does not produce any fruits. Mostly we have no fruits to show the Lord. And some who do, I am very happy about that, and the Lord will bless you for what you have done. But brethren, many people have no particular fruits to show the Lord, and this comes from working not in a way that they don't care. People care about these things. I know you brethren care, but if we do these things automatically, robotically, without thinking about it, just because we've done it the way we've always done it, then we won't have fruits to show. And it is necessary at this time for us to move forward in a very strong way. This is the new agenda of the association. It is the part of the agenda and credenda that the association is putting forward today. Now, at each step of the way, from the beginning in 1930 to this very time, there have been falling aways. There was one in, I think, in 1932. And that was, the very first one was Andreas, Brother Andreas, and the people that went out with him. This is something that we know about. It's recorded in several different historical sources, and there have been at each point in time, each turn in the road, there has been a falling away. And Brother Houteff did not know what he was doing. He made a mistake, Andreas. Again and again, there was a brother called Brother John Iser. Brother John Iser accused Brother Houteff of being the person who coveted the Babylonish garments and so on. Achan. He accused Brother Houteff of being the Achan in the camp. And one or two people went out with him. He went out, and there was one falling away after another. Today, there could be people who say to themselves, "Oh, Bashan," and they have been, brethren. Bashan is wrong. And when you say Bashan is wrong, by the way, what you are saying is, I am right, you, the person who is saying this, is right, and Bashan is wrong. Because automatically, if you say Bashan is wrong, that puts you in the right. And so be it. You have religious liberty to do that, and we respect that. And we don't. We are not going to trouble anyone who has those views. That's your right. But I do want to point out that what that means. It means that you are right and Bashan is wrong, and in a deeper sense, it means that God is wrong if God is going to use Bashan to accomplish the work. Our teaching today has been this necessity, this new method, but not everyone is picking up on it. Some people give lip service, some people have gone all out, and some people have said, no way, I'm not going to do it. I'm not going to use the new methods. Brethren, it is our credenda. If you plan to send in your fellowship's application, or if you have already sent it in and you feel like you cannot honestly support the credenda and agenda of the association, it behooves you before God to withdraw your application right away. Because this is the teaching of Bashan. It is necessary for us to greatly multiply ourselves to do our work. One person can accomplish a certain amount of work for the church. How much did you accomplish by yourself this past year? If it was a great amount, continue just as you are. I am very happy about that. If it wasn't, consider reaching out to your friends, families, neighbors, other people, and multiplying yourself to 2 people, and 3 and 4, and many more. And then we turn around back to the church. How long does it take to go back to the church? No time at all. Once you have someone who is interested in the message and who has been stabilized in the message, we want him to immediately start working for the church. In a very short time, you can be responsible, with the Lord's help, for multiplying yourself significantly if you are willing to follow the things that Bashan has put out. It has become clear that we must have a step-by-step program for this, by the way, and we will have a step-by-step program and material for you. But you know what to do already. If you are a Davidian, you are also an Adventist, and you should be able to share the principles of your faith with other people successfully. Not being able to share, to say the message, our message, our full, whole message with others is a serious deficiency on our part. And it's necessary for everyone to be able to do this effectively. And this is the mark of a Davidian. It is not the mark of a Davidian who says, "Yes, Father, I go," and they do nothing. Also, it is not the mark of a Davidian who goes into battle and trips up and stumbles and ends up not being able to accomplish anything. David was skillful. He was able. He succeeded in his work. And a Davidian today must succeed in his efforts. And we can, not in our own power, but we can in the power of the Lord and the power of the rod. Yes, we can, brethren. If we want to hold on to the message, to the truth, and to the Lord, we can do this. We can work in this new way of multiplying ourselves to accomplish the work quickly. It can go very quickly. Now, this is one of the new methods. There was plural here. The other part of this new method is working in the cities. The evangelization of the world is the work that God has given to those who go forth in his name, us too, brethren. When we're not working for Adventists, we are still charged with this evangelization of the world. This is the teaching of Bashan. This is what it takes to honestly put forward your fellowship application. This is the agenda and credenda part of it, of the association. Look back in the week. Was there any time during the week when you were not working for an Adventist? There was no Adventist in your vicinity, but there were other people? Look back. Is there one single instance? Is there a lot of instances? Yes, there are. What did you say? What did you do? Did you use those opportunities wisely? Not just to throw away a word here and there for no reason. That is a waste, and in fact, it muddies the waters in the long run. But did you work effectively for your brothers and sisters in the world when you were not face to face with an Adventist? This past week, that time when there was no Adventist around, that many times, brethren, when there was no Adventist around, did you do it? Do you have in your heart, can you say you did do this? Then you qualify to as adhering to the agenda and credenda of the association. They are to be co-laborers with Christ, revealing to those ready to perish his tender, pitying love. God calls for thousands to work for him, not by preaching to those who know the truth, going over and over the same ground, but by warning those who have never heard the last message of mercy. Work with a heart filled with earnest longing for souls. You don't tell them that you have an earnest longing for them. You have developed that longing for souls because of your love for God and your desire to be obedient to him and to be a Davidian indeed. But you don't go and spew that on someone. But that's what motivates you, a longing to do these things. Our duty is to evangelize first the church and secondarily Syrophoenicians, but we must use new methods to do this. When you are not working for an Adventist, it is necessary, not just because the Bashan says this, not just because it's the association's agenda and credenda, but because that is based on the message and on the spirit of prophecy and on our duty to use new methods to accomplish the work God has given us. And the second way that we use this in the cities is the new methods is through Mission House, the Mission House program. And when he had called unto him his 12 disciples, he said, "As ye go, preach, saying, the kingdom of heaven is at hand. Provide neither gold nor silver nor brass in your purses." And they departed and went through the towns, preaching the gospel and healing everywhere. This is the work to be done today. Mission should be established, not merely in one or two cities in America, but in various localities. This is the work today, brethren. Now, there is always a turn in the road that we didn't expect, always. There are things happening right now that you didn't expect. This work, this Mission House work, is a work that you didn't expect. Neither did the enemy beforehand. But this is the work that we are engaged in right now. Not just in the United States, but in a number of other countries as well. And it will grow to many, many other places quickly. When a mission is established in a city, our people should take an interest in it, showing this interest in a practical, substantial way. Have we taken an interest in the missions that have been established? We have invited people and put out an invitation for people to visit the mission houses. There's no cost. Come and visit. see what is going on and be part of what is going on for a day or two, or a week or two. Be part of it. Take an interest. It is necessary if we are going to move forward as Davidians, Bashan Davidians, brethren. All the things the Lord has told us are now applicable to us. It is not enough to coast along as nominal Davidians. That chance has come to an end for us. If we're going to be Davidians now, we're going to be real Davidians, all-out Davidians. That's what it takes to honestly apply and receive your fellowship certificate now. And it is an unexpected turn in the road. Many people thought the next big turn in the road would be selling all our property to gather for the solemn assembly. But it is clear that before that step, before we take that step, there is another step, and that is the step where we all become active workers in the work. It is not necessary for us to, it is not time for us to sell all, but it is time for us to put all on the altar. It is time, yes, it is. We are called now all out to all-out service in one way or another. The person in the hospital on the bed is called to all-out service there. Every moment that they are there in the hospital, they are to be a Davidian, indeed, example, a missionary to show what a true Davidian is like. That's a person who can do practically nothing by most people's standards. That's why I'm using that example. What could they do? They can do a lot, Sister White says, and we know that to be true. How we conduct ourselves in the Christ-like way that we conduct ourselves. And you brethren who are retired, there is very much for you to do. To think that there is nothing for you to do is a great mistake. And if you're not doing anything, you're not actually qualifying yourself to receive the seal. This part of doing is just as important as every other part of doing, of the work that we are called to do in our life, in our sighing and crying. We are required to be Davidian, and a Davidian indeed example, a missionary to everyone that we come in contact with. Now, these missions that are established in every city that our people should take interest in a practical, substantial way. What does that mean for us today? It means, brethren, that we need to redirect ourselves. We need to redirect our lives. To be Bashan Davidians, it means that we are willing to go all out for the Lord. We're willing to be the people that He has asked us to be. We're willing to be the missionaries and ministers He has asked us to become. Taking years to obey the Lord's commands is not obedience. There is a class of people who are obeying and have been in the process of getting around to obey for 20 or 30 years or longer. And that, brethren, is not obeying. We might fool ourselves, but we don't fool the Lord, and Bashan can't accept that. By and by, I will be there, Brother Trevor. By and by, I will be able to take a part. Those people who have been years and years, they have their things, they have their goals, they have their life, the things that they value, and that is their choice, and that is their right. But they don't have a right to see themselves as full Bashan Davidians, and we cannot do that. And they will not, and people who are not able to bring themselves to the point of actually doing the things that the Lord has asked us to do are not going to receive the seal, brethren. Knowing the things that we know and not doing the things that we are called to do put us in a category to not receive the seal. My brethren, if you choose to have a part in this grandest of all work, the crowning act in redemption of the world, and you have a choice, you can choose not to have a part. And those who delay and always are going to get around to it in a couple of years, a year, months, whatever, those people are not choosing to have a part in the work. And that's your right. That is your right. But you cannot be a full Davidian today if that is your situation. If you choose to have a part in this grandest of all work, the crowning act in the redemption of the world, you must now quickly make ready. Let not the cares of this life rob you of the crown of eternal life. Do not offer excuses for not making the change. Do not make excuses, brethren. Stand up and say, I choose not to. I don't choose to have a part of it. At least be strong, but don't make excuses. You do have a right to choose your destiny. And if you choose not to take a part in this work, don't offer excuses, just be clear about it. And also be honest, withdraw your application, withdraw your membership. It is necessary at this time for everyone to understand these things. We are not able to see ourselves as Davidians when we are not willing to pay the price. Year after year, we're not ready. We're not willing. We want to make excuses. Then we are not going to be qualified to be Davidians. Stand not on the side of those who shall say, I have bought a piece of ground, and I must needs go and see it. Pray thee have me excused. They were excused. They were completely excused from the feast. And the people who do that today are excused from the kingdom. And you might say, oh, no, I don't want that. I'm coming. Give me a little bit of time. That's fine. You can say those things, but it's what you do that counts. And to do this delay and to do these things of offering an excuse with your life is to put you in this category, brethren. Put yourself in this category. Now, our Seventh-day Adventist slogan, every Seventh-day Adventist, a missionary, and every missionary, a preacher, is becoming a reality and is daily increasing in intensity. This is now actually taking place throughout the Adventist world, meaning the Davidian Adventist world. Not taking place in the Adventist world, but it is for us taking place now. This, in a certain way, was prophetic. It is now going to take place. It is now taking place for us. Living this out in our lives now is a defining part of our Reformation message. We must literally reform our lives now. Redo our lives. Totally change our lives. We were going this way, but all of a sudden we redirected toward this way, the path that actually leads to the kingdom. It is a defining part of our Reformation message. It is what this is what it takes to be qualified to use the name Davidian indeed for yourself. Now, there are different circumstances. The first example I gave of the person who is in a nursing home, in the hospital, confined to a bed, is not able to go in active service as a missionary, are they? We understand that, but they are a missionary right where they are. If you can't go on a mission right now, not because of excuses, by the way, okay? Don't use any excuses with yourself or the Lord, but there are situations where people, their health does not permit, or in one other special case, they have children that have to be taken care of, and it is not practical right this minute for them to go into a mission house. If you can't go into a mission house right now, follow the example of private mission homes from the example of Lydia, Aquila, and Priscilla. A certain woman named Lydia besought us, saying, "If ye have judged me to be faithful to the Lord, come into my house and abide there." And she constrained us. This is what a mission home is. And every Davidian home, apartment, every person who has a home or a place to live of their own should be, who is a Davidian indeed, should understand that this mission home work is what the Lord requires of them. All of us. None of us excepted, brethren. None of us. It changes how we look at things. Completely changes how we look at things. Changes how we live in the world. It's like, nah, I don't want them in my house. Too much trouble. But for those who have a mission home, it is open. It is open to the Lord's servants. It is open to the workers and to brethren who may need a place temporarily. This is part of our work today. Aquila and Priscilla were not called to give their whole time to the ministry of the gospel at first, yet these humble laborers were used by God to show Apollos the way of truth more perfectly. While in Ephesus, Apollos began to speak boldly in the synagogue. Among his hearers were Aquila and Priscilla, who, perceiving that he had not yet received the full light of the gospel, took him unto them and expounded unto him the way of God more perfectly. So there's two sides. A private mission home can be teaching, and it can be receiving, taking in teachers. If this is a little different for you, this is it shouldn't be, by the way. This is we at the end of the day, Bashan actually doesn't teach anything new, but the emphasis is new, and all in all, it amounts to new methods and procedures. So if you can't go on a mission right now, by all means, be faithful to the mission home ideal. Every Davidian a missionary. How is that possible when you're on a hospital bed? How is that possible when you can't leave your home because of health requirements? And I'm not saying family requirements, by the way. People broaden family requirements into all sorts of things, and it's not so, brethren. But if you have children that must be taken care of, you have a requirement that must be met, and that cannot be neglected. There are different ways of meeting your responsibilities, your parental responsibilities, but those responsibilities must be met. Financial responsibilities are not in the same class. Family responsibilities. Well, you know, I have adult children that I'm trying to help, and I have this, I have that. People have a lot of reasons and excuses that are very important to them. And the reason why these things are so important is because the love of perishing souls is not so important. If we had a love of perishing souls in our heart, then we would weigh the balance and we would say, well, there's millions of perishing souls here, and my family could use me here, but they'll survive, they're of age, they're able to take care of themselves. I will go ahead and work for those who are perishing. But that's not how people who do not have a love for perishing souls in their heart act. Our actions are what is going to be considered now, not just our professions. And you need to understand that and take that into account in the way you move forward in your relationship with the association. If you have applied for your certificate already and you find these things to be too much for you, please contact us and so we can terminate your membership for the time being. And if you have sent in the application, make sure that if you can't support that application, that you tell us so we can hold it up. And of course, we want everyone, what we want is everyone to be faithful and happy and move forward in a very positive way. This is actually a very positive milestone for us, brethren. The Mission House way of life is not a life of ease and indolence. Now, the Mission House is a place we go to work. It's self-supporting. It is also the whole purpose of the Mission House is to reach out to those who are in need of the truth and to share the truth with them. First, our brothers and sisters in the church. As long as you can go through one free hour to a next free hour with your brothers and sisters in the church, you should be fully occupied with that. And when you find yourself in a situation where there is no Adventist around or ready to listen to you or talk with you, you speak to whoever. You work with whoever. This is the Mission House mandate. This, by the way, is the mandate for every Bashan Davidian now. The life of a true Christian is one of one continuous round of service. And this is actually a good life. It's a good life to have a life of service. We were always going to be ministers, God's called and chosen people. We were always going to have an apostolic duty to our brothers and sisters. This is the time now. And service, continuous service to our brothers and sisters, whoever they are, is a high calling. It's a wonderful calling. It is also a happy, fulfilling life. Mission House workers have a real purpose and will accomplish real work for the Lord. They experience, their experience in the Mission House work will give them step-by-step training to be part of the last ordained ministry. What is that? What is this last ordained ministry? This is the 144,000, brethren. If we're going to be part of the 144,000, we're going to be part of an ordained ministry. And we have to prepare. We have to have training. We have to have dedication, consecration, experience, and training. And these things are going to be part of the Mission House experience. We will have training. We will have step-by-step, point-by-point training from experienced people. And you will see fruit for your work, which is one of the greatest blessings and joys that you can have when you see people coming in because of your efforts that you have made and the Lord has blessed. Here's what the message says about that last ordained minister. Since in her progression of time, the woman represents each successive ministry, therefore at the time that the dragon is wroth with her, she necessarily must represent the last ordained ministry, the 144,000, those who bring all their brethren from all nations to God's holy mountain, Jerusalem. Isaiah 66:20. The first fruits, moreover, being analogous to the firstborn, the priests, are therefore the ministers. Do you want to be part of the first fruits? Then you want to be a minister. And you say, oh, no, that's not what I wanted. Well, then you are in the wrong religion. Because the first fruits are the ministers. The first fruits are going to be the ministry. Now, we understand that you are not yet a minister, you're not trained yet, and you're not equipped yet, but we're going to be. How is that going to happen? In a flash of light? No. It is not going to happen by a miracle like that for us. How it's going to happen is first we make that decision, we take that step, and we continue to step forward and move forward, and we receive the experience and training that the Lord has for us. That is one of the ways right now, one of the very large ways that the Lord has for us right now, to be to qualify for this last ordained ministry. And God has a work for his co-laborers to do in the cities. Our missions must be sustained. New missions must be opened. This is our work now, brethren. This now is our work. We are to move forward. There's powerful things that can be accomplished like this. We're going to see some remarkable things happen. And for Bashan Davidians, to be a Bashan Davidian is not to give excuses, not to take years and years to come into line, not to say, pray, have me excused for the time being. At a convenient time, I will come. I will definitely come. And when we have that kind of mentality, that we will take our own time, we will adjust our behavior to suit our desire to have the comforts of life, to be as Lot's wife, in love with the city life and the worldly life that we have. We exempt ourselves from the feast in a very, very real way. Now, I don't want to say this to worry anyone, and those people who will decide that Bashan is in error will not have too much worries. They will go their way, and that is fine. Let us, on our part, we wish you well, and we want you to depart in peace and joy and happiness and have a good life. But for those who do want to hold on to the message, who do want to go all the way, this is what our agenda and credenda is now. It is the time when we begin to go all out. There was always going to be a time like this, and this is the time, brethren. Where do we get these things from? The membership of this association shall be composed only of persons who subscribe to the whole credenda and embody in their lives the whole agenda of the aforesaid association. That association goes all the way. With a name change, it goes all the way to the second coming, all the way to the kingdom and to the second coming. It does not fall. It is not in error. Bashan is not wrong. It is time for us to move forward, brethren. It is time. Not time to sell all. It is time to be good stewards and to see that your talents are put out to the money changers, metaphorically speaking, invested wisely. And that, by the way, is very important. We have seen people who would want to not put out their empty house to the money changers. It is necessary, brethren, that if your house is not being used or it is not, there's no rent coming back from it, that it is put out for rent. It is part of being a good steward to take care of your business. One of the things that people sometimes are concerned about in becoming an active worker is financial issues. How will I survive? How can I survive at the salary at Bashan? You probably can't. Okay, I'll tell you right now, you probably can't. Most people right now cannot survive on the salary that we here at Bashan are receiving. But as a mission house worker, you will have a normal salary, and you will be able to take care of your financial responsibilities if they are all decent and suitable for a Davidian. People sometimes do all kinds of things and are stuck with all sorts of problems. Now, one of the things that you should understand is that we look at these financial things to these debts to banks and other institutions who are guilty of great abuse of people, egregious abuse. We look at this differently than the people in the world do. We know that God's people, when they went out of Egypt, went out borrowing many different things from their Egyptian neighbors, and they went out, as it were, with debts. They went out of Egypt with a lot of debts. And we're not saying for you to do that, by the way, but we do regard these things in a different light, not one that excuses us completely from doing the things that the Lord has asked. Some people would turn their financial obligations into an excuse. Pray have me excused. I have run up tremendous financial obligations. You can understand that I'm excused. No, you're not excused. And there's more to say on that, but right now, this is our agenda and credenda for this aforesaid association. The people we must be if we are real Davidians. The Lord wants us to have healthy and well-balanced minds. To be a Davidian today is to have healthy and a well-balanced mind and emotions. He wants people who are calm and stable and who are able to get along and work with each other. Our mission today requires us to work perfectly together in peace, friendship, and harmony. Real Davidians can get along with each other and work in perfect peace and unity. This is a defining attribute of a Davidian today. And if it isn't for you, then please pull back your your application or your certificate very seriously. It is a defining part of being a Davidian. If we're troublesome people, cantankerous, cannot get along with other people, always nervous and flustered and excitable, is that a Davidian indeed today? Is that part of the Davidian mindset? No. It is time, brethren, for us to get things together. We are part of we are called to be part of the last ordained ministry. We're called to be the instrument God uses to save other people. We're called to be strong people in the Lord, able to overcome our little personal issues. And if we can't get along together in peace and harmony and unity, we identify ourselves as below par for Davidians. And that is not possible for us to be and still be in good standing. The standard now means something. It's real. To be a Davidian, it means we never have these problems. When I say never, you might have some little slip here and there, but you take care of it before the sun goes down, and it is not repeated and repeated. And you have grown beyond those things. And if we don't, brethren, we are, like I've said, self-evidently not a Davidian indeed. This is what it means to be a Davidian indeed. Talk, profession, those things are not enough now. And we are particularly called to multiply ourselves greatly. We have a great work to do, and we have a short time to do it. Many people were very happy to give lip service to the teaching that there will be a time when we sell all, but not now. Relief. It was not now. We didn't have to do it now. People would not do it now if they were called on to do it now, brethren. And it is not time. But for many people, it will never be time. Even when it's time, it will not be time for them. It's time now for us to multiply ourselves as a people. It is time for us to prepare ourselves for the move forward. And remember, while you can only accomplish a certain amount of work yourself, as you do this, as you go out and get friends and family, neighbors, co-workers, anyone standing under a tree somewhere, anyone, as you do this effectively and skillfully, and we will have a program for you, you will be able to have great success, and you multiply yourself, and the work will move very rapidly compared to what has moved in the past. These things are things that are going to happen, and you will see it if you're part of it. We want you to be part of it. We hope that everyone will be part of it. Remember, there's a place for everyone, and there's no excuses for any of us anymore. There's no excuses for us. God has never accepted those excuses. Bashan cannot accept those excuses, so please don't make them, okay? Do not make an excuse. Please adjust your standing with the association so that you are right with God, and do not, it is better, remember, that you do not have to take an oath, but you must abide by it. It is also possible in this case to take back our application and our certificate because we didn't understand what it entailed. And this new year, we are putting forward more details of what it entails to be a Davidian indeed today. This is what it is, and those people who have a fellowship certificate, it will mean something. It will truly mean something. And I hope, that, brethren, that every single one of you decide that you do want to keep your fellowship certificate or get one. And this goes for the 584 certificate. Same thing. There's no difference in the principles, the standing for that or our regular certificate, except for the reading. Everything else is exactly the same. So, brethren, it is a good time to be a Davidian. It is a very good time to be a true Davidian indeed. And I hope that everyone will choose to move forward at this time in the way that the Lord is outlining for us. And He has a path for each one of us. And there's not one of us, not one Davidian, who cannot respond to this call for missionaries. Amen. So, brethren, let us be strong and of good courage and move forward now. It is the Lord's will that this work be wrapped up in a very workmanlike way very soon. Thank you, and God bless you all.